Good morning. Join Jackie here, Mondays at 10. So today's topic is about superannuation death benefits. Now, I suppose I should describe what that is before I go too far into the topic. So the death benefits are actually the amount that includes both what you've accumulated into your super savings, but also any life insurance component. So the death benefit is a combination of that, usually as a lump sum. Now, who can you pay your superannuation to directly? It's a very limited group. So there are two definitions that are really quite important. The first is who is a superannuation dependent, and then who is a tax dependent. So you can only pay superannuation death benefits to a superannuation dependent person. Now, the category of those people include a spouse or a de facto partner, children, including adult children, and anyone who is financially dependent. So they're very limited categories, and you can see that quite a lot of people who have superannuation might not have any of those people in those categories. So the difficulty is, well, what do you do with your super if you don't have anyone in those categories? Well, you can direct your super to be paid into your estate, in which case you will cover your superannuation. But if you put a binding death benefit on your superannuation, that nominates directly to one of those superannuation dependents, then the super fund will pay it direct to those people and not via your estate. So your will would not have a say or cover anything to do with your superannuation. So there can be different strategies that we approach when we look at estate planning as to which way we go with putting in a binding nomination or not. Now that second definition of the tax dependent. Now, this is more relevant in terms of the overlap with superannuation dependent and tax dependent. So if superannuation is paid directly to a superannuation dependent person, then whether they pay tax or not on that superannuation depends on whether they're a tax dependent or not. So a spouse is a tax dependent. So if you pay superannuation to a spouse, they will not pay tax on the super. Children under 18, or sometimes if they're still in full-time education up until they're 25, are also tax dependents. So they will also not pay tax on superannuation that's paid directly to them. But generally, everyone else is not a tax dependent, even though they could be a superannuation dependent. So your children over 18, adult children are certainly not tax dependents, and generally speaking, nor is anyone else who might be financially dependent on you. So that can also play into whether or not you want to leave superannuation directly to them, but also whether or not in the will we then look at an equalisation clause, because children might end up paying different amounts of tax on the superannuation, or other strategies to make sure that we have an equal distribution instead of someone getting a whole lot of super and paying a whole lot of tax, and then others getting other parts where they don't pay tax. So once we start looking at super, the intricacies of estate planning can become quite complex, but we do try and make it as simple as possible for people. And we try and find the middle ground that has the best pros and least cons when we move forward, because sometimes there's never a perfect solution, particularly when you think about so many super funds that firstly, only allow you to put in a binding nomination that lasts for 3 years. So you have to remember to keep doing it. And they don't necessarily remind you that that's the case. They don't even tell you whether your nomination sometimes is binding. A lot of people feel that if they have filled in who their beneficiary of their super is just in their app or something like that, then it's binding, but it's not. It's usually a non-binding nomination, which means the super fund can still decide whatever they want to do. So do watch out for your super. For some people, it's often one of your biggest assets, particularly when you take into account the couple of $100,000 life insurance or potentially more that there is there as well. So I hope that that is helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out. You can DM us via this Facebook page or on the link to our website on the Meet the Team page. All our individual email addresses are there, so you can find my email address there if you want to ask me a question about this. I do join Jackie's every Monday at 10. All these videos while live get saved onto the page. So you can go to our videos tab and have a look back through all the different topics that we've done. It's a great place to start when you or a family member or friend has a difficulty with a legal problem. Of course, if anything's relevant for anyone, do comment and tag their name into the comments so that they'll see the video. Or if it's something a little bit more private, please, by all means, share it with them via Messenger. If there is a topic you'd like me to cover, let me know. But otherwise, I won't see you next week because it's Easter Monday. So happy Easter, everyone. And I'll see you in a fortnight. Thank you.